In the ongoing epic poem called the Iliad, the ancient Greek poet Homer wrote about a time when all hope seemed lost for the Greeks battling the Trojans. One Greek warrior named Ajax the Lesser, frustrated at the seeming futility of the war, cried out to Zeus, "If only some god would grant that on this day the Achaeans take their ships and go home across the sea." Zeus heard this prayer and replied, "If only some god would grant that on this day the Achaeans take their ships and go home across the sea." So Zeus sent a dream to the most valiant of the Greek leaders, the hero Achilles, telling him, "Hey Achilles, the Greeks want to go home. If you don't stop them, they will. Come on, please stop them." And Achilles did. As Homer tells the tale, the very sight of Achilles, the most ferocious and dominant of the Greek warriors running toward his comrades to try to convince them to stay and keep fighting was enough to make them change their minds. We meet today to discuss another story of an upset, the perhaps even more famous story of David defeating Goliath. But just as Achilles ran toward his men to inspire them, let me invite you now to turn away from the screen and run toward your story. Let me tell you the story of David versus Goliath. The Israelites were camped out in the valley of Elah, facing off against the Philistines. And every morning and evening the two sides would send out representatives to see if they could get the other side to fight. They would exchange insults, threats, and boasts. And the Israelites were terrified because the Philistine champion, a giant named Goliath, would always taunt them and say, "Why don't you guys send someone to fight me?" But nobody did. That is, until the young shepherd David heard Goliath's taunts and became angry at the giant, his boastfulness, and the way the Israelites were afraid of him. So one day David approached the Israelite camp and told the soldiers there that he was going to defeat Goliath. They tried to discourage him, telling him he wasn't cut out for it, but he wouldn't listen. David wasn't a soldier, really just a teenager, a shepherd. And Goliath was a warrior giant, over 9 feet tall, covered in armor and feared by all. He had a helmet of brass weighing about 5 pounds, a coat of mail weighing about 66 pounds, and a shield of bronze that was made to match. The giant was armed with a spear, a sword, and a dagger, and he carried a 10-pound club. David had nothing but his shepherd's staff and his slingshot, a weapon he used to defend himself and his sheep from predators, and 5 stones that he had picked up on his way to see King Saul. So while Goliath taunted the Israelites, waiting for someone to fight him, David ran toward him. Taking aim with his slingshot, he launched his first rock and hit the giant right between the eyes. Then down came Goliath, crashing to the ground face first. The crowd was stunned into silence. David ran forward and plunged his sword into the giant's neck. Then looking around at the stunned faces of the onlookers, shouted, "I come to you in the name of the God of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will put an end to your name from among the children of Israel. And thus all the earth will know that there is a God in Israel, a victory no one expected, a moment that changed history." So what does this ancient battle teach us today? First, don't be defined by your size, age, or status. Second, preparation matters. Third, courage isn't the absence of fear, but acting despite it. Fourth, faith can move mountains and giants. All these things are true. So if you're facing your own Goliaths right now, fear, doubt, rejection, or failure, remember, giants fall, and with courage, preparation, and belief, you too can overcome the impossible. This is more than a Bible story. This is your story. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. Also, be sure to check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Wednesday. Thanks for watching. See you next time.